Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to Altered Image-The Unfiltered Truth with yours truly, Miss L. Yeah, we're in the house today. It is Wednesday. And at school we refer to Wednesdays as Wellness Wednesdays because we try to get the kids on board with mental health, wellness, so on and so forth. So I figured, you know what? I'm spending this time trying to get my students right. Shoot, let me try to get myself right. And at the same time, I figured, you know what? I'll share some thoughts with some friends, and maybe if things work out well, we'll just get each other right. We'll have us a fabulous Wednesday going into Wednesday evening, and hopefully that will carry itself all the way out into the weekend. So there's our plan. That's our objective. You know, I'm a teacher, so you know we got to have some objectives before we do anything else. So now that we know the objective, let's look at the how and the why and what in the world we're going to talk about today. Y'all, so I was thinking, I called the channel Altered Image for a reason, and I posted on Facebook. I talked about how I kind of recreated myself after having gone through the trauma of divorce, the trauma of childhood experiences, so on and so forth. So it led me to say to myself, this would be a perfect segue to kind of talk about, you know, reinventing yourself after the hard stuff has happened. So throughout my journey, y'all, and I ain't going to talk a whole lot about me, but I'm just going to give you some key points so you kind of can follow where I'm going with this whole thing. Throughout my journey, what I realized about the power in reinventing yourself is in doing such a thing, you really get in touch with the little girl or little boy inside of you. And I'm going to speak to that person. But first, I'm going to give you, I like to call her my alter ego, but she's slowly becoming the person authentically 100% who I am all the time. And that's this Miss L character. And she came about when I got into the teaching profession, and I knew immediately in order to get these students engaged and behave the right way, I needed to become a little bit of an actress. And so as I started healing and I kind of warped into this Miss L character, I slowly started realizing that the confidence that I carried when I was with Miss L was kind of feeling good. So I decided to hold on to that. I kind of started finding my authentic self in a character that I created just to start teaching. Isn't that crazy? I didn't even realize that I needed to reinvent myself because I figured that healing was enough, y'all. Healing ain't enough. And I'm going to speak to that. Listen to me. You are different after you have healed through a hard space and place. Your experiences, your trauma has landed you into a different place inside of your life. You're not the same person that you were when you were going through all of that trauma. And in fact, that trauma was literally your norm. So when you break out of that and you realize that your norm was highly dysfunctional, you become so much more self-aware, and you then become very confident in your self-awareness because you slowly begin to realize that that person that you were trying to be while you were existing through that trauma was never who you were supposed to be in the first place. So that is why Miss L has become near and dear to me, because after this, having invented this character became who I am. And so my students know Miss L as a teacher mom who is there to ensure that they excel in their academics. However, I am also there to ensure that they are mentally and socially healthy and happy. That is my role as Miss L. Well, that role doesn't just stop at school. It goes throughout the community and anybody else that comes into my presence. That's my goal. That's what I try to give to people. Well, I wasn't always that way, right? So I had to reinvent myself to become this new person. You all, Listen to me. Reinventing yourself after having dealt with a series of traumatic events in your lifetime builds character. Your strength is going to turn you into somebody else. When you endure hard circumstances and situations, those hard circumstances and situations will change you. Embrace that change. Hey, you're going to become a peacock or a lion or an eagle. Anything that's going to roar or soar, that's exactly who you will become. So wear that and own that proudly. And you know what? Let me just get you prepared. There are going to be some people who don't quite understand who you have become. There's some people who are going to place judgment and have all kinds of negative things to say about your new personality that you have grown through. They are going to say that you have changed. And you tell those people, damn right, I've changed. Yeah, you have changed. That changed is called growth and healing. And don't let anybody tell you that it's called anything different, because anything outside of positivity, when it comes to that type of advancement within yourself, it's just coming from a hater. And know that. Know that. I touched briefly on the little person inside of you. It took me a minute to really understand and value the child inside of us all, because I heard it all the time, but I didn't quite connect to that statement. I didn't have an understanding because it was very literal to me. What do you mean a girl inside of me? I'm a whole grown woman. What y'all talking about? Now I get it, y'all. Listen to me. The little person inside of you is a person who endured all of the trauma. And what makes it so tragic is that you are at your most vulnerable state when you are a child. You are the most pure when you are a child, because you are not conditioned by society yet. The only thing you want as a child is love and acceptance. You really don't want anything else because you don't know anything else. So therefore, think about this small, innocent, pure, unconditioned child is the person who is dealing with all of the terrible, traumatic events that are being projected upon them. How unfair is that? And yet, we forget that throughout our healing journey, we forget to honor that little girl or that little boy who for real got us to where we are right now. Because the strength of a child is something that can never be ignored, especially, y'all, when you go through some traumatic things. Y'all, honor that child. That is the what you have got to do. That's the what. Why do you have to do that? Because that child took on all of the pain, all of the torment, and all of the traumatic events that you remember. But that child who was you at that time those things were being projected upon, that child endured those things firsthand. You remember those things, but it was the small child in you that endured those things so unfairly. That's unfair, right? So that's why you gotta honor that child inside of you through your journey of healing. You demand respect, because that child deserves that respect. You demand that people don't talk to you all crazy, because that child deserves to be talked to with love, lovingly. Do you understand what I'm saying? You demand all of those things for yourself that you would want for your own child, because love is something that you are entitled to. Respect is something that you are entitled to. Acceptance from individuals who really see you is something that you are entitled to. All of those things are the hopes and desires of the children that we used to be, who were so unfairly beat all the way down. I ain't gonna say the F-bomb. Y'all know I want to say it, but I know sometimes my students listen to me, so I'm gonna keep it I'm going to keep it a little bit PG right now. But I hope you grab the intensity of what it is I'm trying to tell you. You've got to honor the little person in you. And you got to honor also the lessons that you have learned because of the brunt of the anguish and the torment and all of the things that the little person you had to endure. Through the headaches, you got to get to the lessons. Through the heartaches, you got to get to the lessons. The big grown person of you, your job is to live by, understand, learn the lesson. But the child in you, believe it or not, that child who endured, their job was to be the warrior for you. Because that child in you, that was the one that took it all on. The hard stuff was projected toward the inner child in you. You got to now honor that child. And the way you honor that, here comes your how. Y'all, I'll tell y'all like I tell my students, don't ever do anything in life unless you know what, how, and why you're doing it. How do you honor that child in you? You remember who he or she was, and you remember who you are now, and you walk tall. And you don't accept anything less than that of which you deserve. And what you deserve is love, peace, acceptance, and respect. You are with Miss L. This is the Altered Image. We are coming to you live, unscripted. This is all I got for today, y'all. I want you guys to go enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. Go into the latter part of your week and your weekend and know that you are a profound individual because you went through some profound shit. And that makes you strong. And the small person inside of you must be honored for having had to endure all of those hard things to elevate you to where you are right now. Honor that child by honoring yourself. Don't accept anything less than that of which you deserve. I love you guys. Hey, we're getting better. 12 minutes, 49.50 seconds. Whoop-pow! Love you guys. Take care.